Like the video if you're fired up for Raiders football. Like the video if you're fired up to tailgate in Allegiant Stadium. Hit that like button if you're fired up to watch every single Raiders game here at the Raiders Report. Hit that like button if every time Antonio Pierce or a Raider fan goes, Raiders, you are yelling with us. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz, your host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, we're going to be doing our Raiders 2024 record prediction video. I do this video every single year, and every single year I am within 1 or 2 games of this prediction. I'm going to be honest with you. I do this with my honest intent. I'm not just a Raider fan. I am somebody that tries to come up here and give you a real take. So the fact that the Raiders put out their 2024 schedule, we're going to roll through it real quick right here, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to go through every single game starting in week 1, making my way through week 18. I'm going to tell you who wins, who loses, what the score predictions are, and obviously these are going to change. It is freaking May after all, but knowing now that we have been able to sit down, digest the Raiders schedule for about 20-ish hours now, I want you to predict the Raiders record for me this upcoming season. Don't answer this with your Raider heart, because the Raider heart in me says we're going undefeated and we're going to the Super Bowl. I want you to honestly put your chips in one state. Let me know where you're thinking. Predict the Raiders record this season. My prediction, obviously, at the end of today's video. Let's go to week 1 against the garbage cans. The Chargers. F the Chargers, man. The fact that their social media team's ripping on Davante, calling us garbage after we dropped 63 on their asses is laughable to me. This is the Jim Harbaugh game. This is a Justin Herbert game. And I know that the last time we played this team early on in the season, we got the L. But you know what? I believe in our organization. We're just the tougher football team. And sometimes that's really what it comes down to. Give me the Raiders to win, basically at home in LA, 24-21, improving the Raiders record to 1-0. Week 2, another road game, back-to-back roadies. It's not going to be an easy one. Long distance traveled, and then it's an early game. It's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern time. So, these historically have been games that the Raiders have struggled in. Because of that reason, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens to win this one 27-17. I wanted the Raiders to play Baltimore a little bit later on in the schedule because this is another very tough football team. And let's face it, Lamar has been hurt a lot at the end of the year. Early on in the season, though, the Ravens are a really, really tough game. It's going to be a good matchup, though. I think that the score is maybe more of a blowout than what the game actually is. But as it stands, Raiders 1-1. Let's go to week 3 up against the Carolina Panthers. And Bryce Young, they did a good job surrounding him with a lot of talent on the offensive line and just giving him some more weapons overall. But you know what? We got a hell of a defense, and I can't wait to see what Christian Wilkins does in this matchup. Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Kuntz pinning their ears back and really getting after the second-year quarterback. Raiders are going to win this one in a very controlling fashion, 31-20, moving their record to 2-1 and welcoming Antonio Pierce Tom Telesco in Allegiant Stadium. You guys better show out and show up for this game. Let's go to week 4 against the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson, a very good defensive team. My eyes are going to be on Maxx Crosby and Myles Garrett, because a lot of times we talk about certain matchups when teams are going up against each other. The player that, when I think of defensive player of the year that's up there, yeah, you're going to talk about Micah Parsons. Yeah, you're going to talk about TJ Watt. But you know what? Max and Myles, to me, are the 2 best in the biz. Unfortunately, I got this one going to the Cleveland Browns, and when I thought about it, there's certain games that you don't think that your favorite team is going to lose, and this was just one of those games for me where I said, you know what, I'm going to give it to the Browns early on. Quarterback play was the coin flip overall, which now brings the Raiders record to 2-2. If you bleed silver and black, I want you to hit that subscribe button. We're dropping videos all year long here around this football team, whether you're looking for news, whether you're looking for rumors, we got you covered. And you know what? Our Madden season starts today. So Chugs and I, we're going to be going live a little bit later on here on the Raiders Report. And throughout the entirety of the offseason, not only are we doing all this, we're going to be doing Madden simulations. We did it last season. It was a big hit. So if you want to pull up, maybe win some prizes and some money, subscribe to the Raiders Report. Let's go to week 5 at the Denver Broncos. Another reason why I had the Raiders losing to the Browns is because I don't want to say that you're looking forward to a division game, but if you were to ask, I think the silver and black of which game do they have circled on their calendar more, the Cleveland Browns or in Denver, The answer is in Denver. And I am telling you right now, we will extend our win streak against this team with this win right here 9 straight times. The last time that the Broncos took care of business against the Raiders, you got to go all the way back to December 29, 2019. Let me know what you were doing there. Big-time Raiders win against one of the worst teams in the NFL, 28-13 after the Donkeys. Let's go to Week 6 now against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is another game that I can't wait to see. Growing up in Pennsylvania, seeing a lot of my friends, man, they're big-time Steelers fans. Hell, I got a lot of family members that are Steelers fans. But you know what? Russell Wilson, you know who is Russell Wilson's daddy? His number's 98, and I think he's going to give him a nice another warm welcome here. Mike Tomlin, one of the best in the biz. This is a really interesting football team, a lot of unknown commodities, good defense, but the Raiders own Russell Wilson, and that's a dub, 24-23. Raiders 4-2 on the season. Let's now go to Week 7 at SoFi Stadium. Another road game, but another home game. There will be more black jerseys than Rams jerseys in this one. That I can guarantee you. But, you know, you're 4-2 right now. Maybe you're feeling a little bit confident. You had a home game. Now you got to go travel on the road again, travel on the road. The Rams are one of the hardest teams for me to wrap my mind around because I think when they are fully healthy, and you kind of saw it a little bit last year, they can beat just about anyone. And, you know, there's going to be times where the quarterback play might really impact the Raiders' defensive play is really what's going to have to carry this team. I'm going to have them losing this one. The Raiders now 4-3 on the season. And then, like I said earlier about the Browns game, like this Rams game, there's a part of me that just thinks that the Raiders are just going to be circling Week 8. Kansas City's going to have Week 8 scheduled, circled on their calendar as well. The last team that beat them, and then they went on their historic Super Bowl run. As much as I want to be able to sit up here and say, Raiders at home against the Chiefs are going to get the dub, I'm not going to do it. Kansas City has had a lot of success in our building, and I think that some of that success is going to continue. Give me the Chiefs to win this one, 28-20. If you want to throw the tomatoes my way, please. I don't blame you for wanting to throw tomatoes. Hell, I want to throw tomatoes at myself. Silver and black, 4-4 as it stands right now. Coming up next, Week 9 against the Bengals. Before I get to them, though, skies out, thighs out. Shout out to Chubbies, and if anybody needs to upgrade their wardrobe, especially if you got some nice knees and you want to show them off, shout out to Chubbies for sponsoring the Raiders Report. So summer is right around the corner, and our friends at Chubbies are bringing the good vibrations. Chubbies is a lifestyle apparel brand that makes every moment feel like a vacation. They say fashion is an expression of one's character, so why not let the world know you're down for a good time? For a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code CHAT. Use code CHAT at chubbiesshorts.com/chat. Chubbies offers a variety of high-quality men's apparel from super stretchy shorts and swim trunks in 3 short inseam lengths to pants, polos, and button-down shirts for when you need to hit up your favorite weekend brunch spot. Embrace the spirit of endless summer with Chubbies, the ultimate destination for bold, vibrant, and outrageously comfortable clothing. For me personally, I mean, you guys can see these pictures here. I've actually been rocking Chubbies for quite some time, and way before I was even doing the Raiders Report, I was rocking Chubby shorts on top of it. I do think that they are great for the pool. I think their shirts are awesome for vacation. And then some of their stuff on top of that, super comfortable. I don't care if you're going to the gym. I don't care if you're hanging out with your buddies. I rock Chubbies, but then again, I know you guys don't see my legs often, but I take a lot of pride. I don't skip leg day. And if you don't skip leg day, I think Chubbies is right for you. So again, that link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description. Code CHAT, C-H-A-T, again at chubbiesshorts.com/chat. Shout out to them for sponsoring the Raiders Report. Let's go to Week 9 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Another game at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Tough road game. I mean, that's a tough slate of games. You got the Rams, you got the Chiefs, then you got the Bengals. And what I'm really interested to see here is how the Raiders get after Joey B and what this game ultimately looks like. Because there's a part of me where I wonder, like, this game could be 14-13. There's also that other part of me that's like, this could be a shootout. And I'm going to go with the shootout here with 31-28. Bengals get the win. So after starting 4-2, 3 really tough matchups. Raiders are 4-5. And luckily, you got a Week 10 bye. This is where you're like, regrouping. You're trying to figure out what type of team are we, because if I'm saying 4-5, remember the NFL trade deadline is November 5th. So technically you lose this game. Then during your bye week, which I love, the Raiders can start planning of, thinking about where they're going to go as an organization. Perfect bye week placement to get ready for the end of the stretch here for this season. Let's go to week 11 at the Miami Dolphins. Another tough game in Miami, which is also funny. The last season, the Raiders played Miami week 11 in Miami. This was kind of a rough game for Aidan and company. Really couldn't get a lot going on offense. And some of you are going to get mad, but I have this team losing to the Miami Dolphins. You're now 4-6 on the season. That's 4 straight losses, and against 4 teams that I do think could potentially make the playoffs. A lot of speed for the Dolphins. I think the Raiders are going to be able to match up well with them physicality-wise, but the Dolphins are a better football team at home. That's a fact. If this game was in Allegiant, I would have taken the Raiders. Let's go to week 12 now against the Denver Broncos. At this point in the season, if you're 4-6, it's make or break time. It's either, are you going to show out and show love for AP, or are you going to crumble up and tuck and hide away as if Josh McDaniels was your head coach? I really believe that this team has got a lot of heart, and I think they are going to surprise a lot of people, and some of you are saying that. You're like, Mitch, you're 4-6 right now. Well, we're going to get a dub against the Broncos. We're going to sweep them again. We're going to continue to improve that winning streak against them. We're going to get to 10 straight wins against the Donkeys. We get a dub. 5-6 now in the season after a 30-17 win against Bo Nix. Let's go to week 13 at Kansas City, Black Friday. Shout out to the NFL for giving us a Black Friday game. And also, if you're following along with me, we put out our schedule release video yesterday, probably like 4 hours before the Raiders did. And I said on that show, I don't know how many primetime games they're going to get. They might only have 2. Guess what? The Raiders only have 2 primetime games. Well, this is one of them, Black Friday. And you know what? Black Friday, sometimes shit gets a little bit spooky. Oh, man, this is a dub for the Raiders in Arrowhead. The last 2 times the Raiders, not even that, the last 3 times the Raiders have gone into Arrowhead, they have competed with the Chiefs, winning 2 of them, losing 1 by 1 point on a just ridiculous holding call on Malcolm Kuntz. Raiders now 6-6 on the season and trending in the right direction. Remember, if you ever want to interact with Chugs and I on social media, yes, we make a lot of content on YouTube, but we also give a lot of takes, and you can get to know us a little bit better on X or Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. My guy Jeremy Chugs is at Jeremy Chugs, and then at Jeremy_Chugs on Instagram. Let's go to week 14 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Baker Mayfield still gives me nightmares from that Rams Thursday night football game where the Raiders were up 16-3. I'm not going to lie to you. But this is going to be, to me, one of the most difficult teams to be able to understand of how good they're going to be. Playoff team, won a playoff game, but I don't view them as being the team that scares me the most in this division. I'm actually, though, going to go with the Buccaneers to win this one, 27-21. Sometimes after a big game, like a big game against the Chiefs, you have a little bit of a letdown game. And this is kind of what I'm thinking is going to be a little bit of a letdown game for the Raiders on the road after a huge win against Kansas City. Raiders 6-7 on the season. Let's go to week 15 now against the Atlanta Falcons, Monday Night Football. And this is the team that scares me the most out of the NFC South. Now you got Kirk Cousins. You also have Michael Penix there. Could be interesting to see which quarterback we end up getting. And with that being said, I'm going to go with Atlanta to win this game on top of that. And it's just a tough football game. I actually think that the Falcons have done a lot of low-key good moves, especially trying to build that offense. So right now, Raiders are 6-8. So the only way in hell you're making the playoffs is if you're able to win from here on out. My next question here on today's show, again, shout out to Chubby's for sponsoring us. Are you going to a game this year? If so, which game are you going to? Are you going to a preseason game? I'm already telling y'all right now, I'm trying to go to a preseason game. Raiders preseason week 2 game against the Cowboys. My fiance, she's a big Cowboys fan, and this one might be a game that I try to get Chugs and I out there. Maybe fiance's a little bit of a trip. I think that'd be fun. But in terms of regular season games, stay tuned on watching the Raiders port. Jugs and I might be out there a few times this season. Let's go to week 16 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The amount of comparisons that we've seen for Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew, because the stats are very similar when you look at the games on a 50-game basis. Very similar. The Raiders are going to get a dub here. Jacksonville choked at the end of last season, and to be honest, I don't know how good Trevor Lawrence actually is. He's been somebody that has struggled with lots and lots of injuries over the entirety of his career. And at this point in the season, I mean, call me crazy. I'm going to expect that he's banged up again, and that Jags team's not going to be as good as what they are early on in the year. Little early of a Merry Christmas present here for the nation. Let's go to Week 17, the real Christmas present, and no better way that I'd rather get 2025 rocking and rolling in New Orleans and against Derek Carr. I hope that DC isn't benched by this time, because this is going to be the game that I think goes absolutely nuclear on our YouTube channel here. And I got the Raiders winning this one 28-24. I hope the Raiders can get past midfield this time. And, some of you might be thinking, Mitch, why would the Saints bench Derek Carr? Saints fans wanted him benched last year. Then they go out and they draft Spencer Rattler. And I'm already telling you, the calls for Spencer Rattler to be QB down in New Orleans are already starting to grow. As much as I would love to have Rattler, because I don't think he's as good as DC, I really want DC to be the quarterback in this game. Raiders 8-8, going into the final game of the season, and this could be for a wild card spot. It might not quite be enough to get into the playoffs in the AFC. Then again, you just simply never know. But there was a part of me that really, really deep down is hoping, and maybe I'm getting a little deja vu from 2021 doing this schedule, because back in 2021, Raiders were 6-7, made the playoffs. Who did they beat Week 18 to get in? The Chargers. And, again, shout out to DC. The timeout picture is probably one of my favorite pictures amongst being a Raider fan, and one of the moments I just couldn't believe that we were going to the playoffs. I hope and hope and hope that 9 wins is enough for this team to make it to the dance, because I will say this, if you make it, the Raiders are a team that I don't think a lot of people would want to play, simply because of their physicality, simply because of their toughness. And if you subscribe to Defense Wins Championships, the Raiders are a team that will scare some people in the playoffs. So to me, the Silver and Black are going to go 9-8 this season. Let me know where you guys, again, are thinking. If that's not enough, too many wins, Vegas has us at 6.5 wins, which, honestly, thank you again, Vegas. Thank you to all the NFL media people out there that doubt us every single year. People put the Raiders as finishing last in the AFC West. It happens every single year, and it happened again. I just can't wait for the Raiders to outplay the Chargers, to outplay the Broncos. The Chiefs are going to be probably AFC West champions again, unless something happens to Mahomes. But the fact that I know that we can beat them any given week gives me hope in the playoffs, because if you can beat Kansas City, quite frankly, you can beat anybody and you can compete for a Super Bowl. If you made it this far in the video, shout out to y'all, and hopefully you guys are rocking with Jeremy Chugs and I every single Raiders game this upcoming season here on the Raiders Report.